recording started.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Nigel would approach Keepsake first, because she wouldn't approach, but she will offer a usual friendly nod, polite nod.
Nigel, he probably get whenever he sees her, he gives like a wave or something. You know, he's pretty sociable.
Mm. She just, or maybe it becomes a habit when she raises her staff, and it's like, same staff.
Same stuff.
Just in joke now.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, otherwise she won't look too much into things.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he may encounter her at her regular beating up of a training dummy.
All right. Actually, this might be a good conversation starter. Uh, one of the days he comes in and he's got a fucking huge ass black eye.
Um, pauses, looks at that. Are you quite alright?
Me? He kind of points at himself.
Well, I'm certainly not talking to the training dummy.
Oh, you never can be sure, can you? I'm doing fine, thanks. Why you ask?
Well, you seem to have acquired a new accessory. Points at I.
Taps eye. Oh, right. You know, half the time. It makes seeing a little difficult, but half the time I don't even realise it's there.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
It's all good. He says it makes seeing difficult, but half the time I don't even realise it's there.
Just nods. Would it be too rude to ask what on earth happened?
Oh, of course not.
I don't recall seeing you with us the last time we spoke.
Oh, I wear it with pride. You see, myself and Queen, Agent Queen, went up on a duel.
Oh. Mm,
I didn't win.
well. She just smiles. Yes, I can see that.
I got damn close. This isn't even what took me out. And he points to the eye. Well, she had to shoot me.
Well, well then. Well then. I don't know what to say. Is it healing properly?
Oh, it's healing fine. It's not gonna have infections or anything, you know. It was just a basic sparring that got a little intense.
Just a little.
Well, I won't take anything back. I mean, you go against the Queen. I've heard, yeah, I don't know if you've heard anything about her, but it's about as much as I expected.
I don't really know anyone outside the scientists.
Ah, she's the head of security.
I thought that was a basilisk.
There's security 1 and security 2.
Oh, yes, there's two security. Hmm. Well then, I shall keep that in mind should I ever encounter her.
She does great work. Very valuable asset to the Foundation. I'm just happy I got a sparring. I heard she caved in the SCP's head and I just had to see what she could do with that hammer of hers.
My goodness. Assets, well, an asset to the Foundation is one thing, of course, but whether or not you can get along with a person is a completely other thing, I believe.
Fair enough. I think bearing a smile and making good conversation's a great way of going about it, but not everyone sees it the same, and it's kind of a shame, if you will.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, how do you do, it seems, other than the black eye?
I'm doing well. I'm doing my job at the best place a man could be.
Empathies.
Smiles. Oh shit, those are d20s. Every fucking time.
She doesn't read. She doesn't read you, of course. But she just squints.
He's all smiles. And yeah, technically, just because you didn't make empathy doesn't mean you can't disbelieve him.
I know. She squints and she says, "That wasn't an answer about yourself. I asked how you were doing."
I thought I was doing fine. I'm happy with what I'm doing, which means I'm doing good. A man is a product of his surroundings, after all, wouldn't you say? Was it Dr. Spine?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that second bit?
Oh, a man is the product of his surroundings, after all, wouldn't you say, Dr. Spine?
Well, that's the classic nature versus nurture argument, I believe. I'm inclined to believe that both have an effect on a person. So,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
sorry. So, one can't exactly point to a person's surroundings as the sole cause of what they are.
Oh, that's a lot of smart person jargon that I can't say I actually follow with, but sure.
Well, if it would be, I suppose that a good analogy would be, you can plant a seed, and how it grows, of course, will determine on how well you treat it. However, it will also depend on what kind of plant it is exactly that you have seeded. After all, if you plant, say, a rose, but you treat it as if but you grow it and you nurture it in the same way that you're supposed to nurture a carrot, it will not turn as well as if you had tried to raise a rose as a rose.
Not gonna. I think I can follow that.
Suppose, or say, trying to grow a cactus, but you water it and give it the same soil as a rose bush. You can only, that the poor thing would drown. Or wouldn't grow at all.
Almost saying, Dr. Spine, you live up to the rumours about you.
Oh, and what would those be?
You're just absolutely crazy for plants.
Well, plants are a constant after all.
I'd hope so. Make everything much more pretty.
Yes, they're a constant, and, well, there is no chance that there will, a day will never come which this world is without plants. After all, because if that day should ever come, well, I'm quite sure that the world would end.
Was that?
Huh?
Why is that? He says. He kind of cocks his head to the side. At this point, he's probably like put out his spear and is like leaning on it.
Well, they are integral to the world after all. Plants are a crucial part of every single ecosystem. They also contribute to the air which we breathe. And so much more. Not only are they pleasing to the eye, and they help the environment, and help our minds, but, well, we wouldn't be able to eat meat if those animals were not able to grow, and many of those animals that we eat rely on plants to grow as well. They are a crucial part of this world. And should we ever lose plants, we lose the world. Quite simple, really.
You see him like actually genuinely thinking about this. Like kind of the processing.
She just smiles, taps the training dummy, which is probably not metal. I was thinking it's like a mannequin.
Yeah, probably honestly kind of like a
Yeah.
foam.
If plants, they also, well, they are the foundation of many things. Fibers.
Foundation. Sorry, continue.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
What did he say? Like, she didn't hear that.
Oh, he just snorted at her saying foundation. That was it.
Oh! Then she wouldn't have said that.
Oh, no, not like he's offended. He's just amused.
I know. She just smiles and says, many medicines are originally derived from plants. Our food is also derived from plants. They are simply irreplaceable. Try to go through life without consuming in any way anything that is a byproduct or a direct product of plants, you would be dead. After all, they contribute to the oxygen and the atmosphere that we breathe.
So there isn't a sort of opposite of a vegan then, is there?
No.
Huh.
Of course, of course, it is possible to not have plants in your diet, but ultimately,
So you said you needed it.
of course you need it. But dieting, vegans are people who try to abstain from animal products. However, and I suppose that the opposite would be people who try to abstain from plant products. But you could try to not eat things which do not have plants, but you would inevitably fail, as whatever you eat, whether it be meat or beans or and that would be simply eating only meat products. However, well, she just gives a shrug of, she shrugs. However, those animals which you would be eating would have required plants to grow up in the first place. So, it's quite impossible.
But what if you only ate meat, but the things that you're eating they ate plants? Would you actually be able to get your things off them?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand that.
If you only eat meat, and then the things you eat plants, could you technically only survive off them?
No, you would not be able to. After all, just because they digested the nutrients which came from the plants, that does not mean that those nutrients would translate to the meat which you eat.
So then, that makes sense. I mean, I guess that means it's a good thing I like my Brussels sprouts, huh?
I didn't catch that either.
Oh, sorry. I have to be quiet, and it's hard.
No, it's okay. No, I can't catch it because the accent. I love the accent, but it's hard on sometimes.
Yeah. He said it's a good thing that I enjoy my Brussels sprouts then, huh?
Quite indeed.
I'll never understood it. The people that are like, oh, I don't enjoy vegetables, I don't enjoy fruits. I think that tastes really good, honestly. Like, would I survive completely off of... Would I do the vegan thing? Oh, I don't hate myself. I like meat too much. Can you imagine, Dr. Spine, living every single day without bacon? I'd be miserable.
I do think that veganism in itself is quite, personal opinion of course, is a bit of a foolish notion, as many people who try a vegan diet, many say that they do it to avoid animal cruelty. However, vegan diets, well, they are fueled by human cruelty instead.
Also, well, I don't think I quite follow on that one. I
Uh,
don't see them killing humans and eating them in China. I'm pretty sure that break their veganism on it.
no, but those plants, or many of the core staples of vegan diets, such as quinoa, are are produced by are she basically goes into a polite, slightly long-winded talk about how a lot of vegan foods um, require a lot are either a toll on the environment or require a lot of human labor, which is typically underpaid. Um,
Keepsake, you notice about halfway through your long-winded explanation that you have lost Nigel. Whether it is you lost Nigel because he doesn't have the intelligence to process this thing, or because he simply just doesn't really care, you don't know.
well, she makes sure to explain it in a way that's understandable.
You have lost Nigel.
She stops when she realizes that she lost him, and she smiles and says, Apologies.
It's going alright. It's just not something I'm especially interested in.
No worries. Everyone has their different interests.
I have to fight. I'm not sure if you'd be like it's not something interested or just I don't care.
How much how much does he give a shit about her opinion?
That's the thing. Honestly, Nigel's kind of an asshole. So I'd probably be like, to be honest, I don't really care.
she just shrugs. Then, well, I don't fault you. You have your own interests after all, I'm quite sure.
Surely, but I don't know if there's something you care about anyway. You know, everyone's got their different ones. It's like what makes people people.
Yes, right indeed. That's why you are Agent Lockjaw rather than Agent Spine.
It takes him a second. Is he like, yeah, that's good. I would hope so. I think also it's just a matter of he puts his hand above her head and then raises it to like the top of his head. Height difference also makes it a little bit, I'd say.
Perhaps just a bit. It makes the. It's also why you're the agent and I'm the scientist.
Well, I wouldn't say that your height is any reason. I mean, they send Agent Leech out and Agent Leech's such a small thing.
Yes, but he is also suited to the field.
It's been trained, yeah.
Yes, and I haven't received any of that training, nor am I interested in it. I have my own specialties. I can recognize where I'm good at. I play to my strengths.
With the plants and all that. Speaking of which, how's your time at the foundation been? Anything fun?
What was that?
Speaking of which, how's your time at the foundation been? Anything fun?
Well, there was. Well, my recent test almost ended up a disaster, but thankfully it was averted.
Do tell, Lindsay.
We have a new teacher, SCP, that no one has taken a look at, so I decided to take a look at it. The D class ended up dying.
No loss there.
And we almost lost a scientist and a few other researchers.
What's the matter? You're supposed to be back in the lab while that's going on, so you're safe, isn't it?
Yes, but the thing with this SCPC is once it's a sarcophagus, you see, and once it opened, it revealed a mummy which had a rather brilliant ruby around its neck. Once anyone who saw this ruby immediately had was affected by some sort of compulsion to touch it. Some scientists, such as Dr. Firebug, well, were affected more than others, and Dr. Firebug himself ended up running full kilter for it. Thankfully, Echo Team was on standby, and they were not in viewing of the ruby and stopped him. And a few other researchers which attempted to join in.
Yeah, that firebug seems to have plenty of problems in the workplace.
Well, I think it was simply an influence of that SCP. For a moment, I was affected as well. I thought it possessed me somehow to believe it would bring my sister back from the dead. But once I put on some goggles tailored to stopping visual mimetics, it was no longer under its effects.
He smiles. Mimetic goggles that helped.
Yes. Empathy's you.
Oh shit!
Oh! Oh!
I could be an asshole and make you reroll, but I'm not gonna because that'd be such a dick move. You see through his smile, and you actually read his eyes instead. And you see, as you mentioned, this SCP and how it affected everyone. There's a momentary flare of just utter deep hatred, and like anger. And with the mimetics, you see that he's interested in that. And there's those two things seem to be attached. It feels like it's in relation to something, though you don't know what it's in relation to.
Thanks for that recent mission.
Yep.
Yes, they were made by the late Dr. Janus.
Oh, I'm gonna be an asshole here. I'm really sorry. Oh, so at least he could do something before he left.
Does Nigel have empathy?
Barely any.
You can try to empathy her.
Or at least he did something good before he left, basically.
I know.
The good wasn't in there. The good needs to be in there to solidify Nigel's asshole quality. I'll try empathy.
I mean, she only got 2 successes on her rescom.
Oh shit, I keep forgetting his empathy's actually a lot higher than I thought it'd be. Because it's a social interaction. So, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boop. 3 successes.
You can, for a moment, there's a thought. That, like, I know something you don't.
He leans in.
But she's disinclined from sharing it.
He leans in. Is there a secret I'm missing?
Well, I did have the good fortune of speaking with the late Dr. Janus a few times. And, well, let's just say that that's not the only thing that he accomplished.
Or he made something else?
One could say that.
Well, I am the curious sort. Is it something I can know?
I'm sure that you'll find out, just as everyone else will, eventually.
Oh, don't leave me hanging like that, Dr. Spine. I'm gonna roll a persuasion.
Unfortunately, I believe I must. So, but yes, mimetic goggles.
1 second, I'm rolling to persuade her.
Oh. Oh my god, that was almost a crit fail! Almost! Emphasis on almost. You can try, but she's pretty, what is that?
I mean, it was almost a crit fail, so
Almost, but, she's like, you'll see eventually.
Well, that's what the persuasion's for, to see if you
You beat her, but...
can... Just a hint, winks.
Well, I'm not quite sure about it, actually.
What are you sure about? You ought to have something to be able to dangle me in front that is in front of me like that, Dr. Spine.
You left a great deal... one sec. Let me think of how to read this. He had a great deal of plans. Agent Lockjaw? Great many. I had the privilege of hearing a few of them. And, well, despite being gone, his presence still lingers in some ways. It will be felt by all, perhaps.
It'll be what? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
It will be felt by all, perhaps.
Oh, it sounds ominous.
Huh?
That is
You
empathy.
do look in... What was that?
Empathy.
She's referring to an SCP.
You see him lean down further. So how much do you know about these, Dr. Spine?
Not much.
How'd you learn about it? Is this just a scientist thing?
Well, I spoke with him. He resembles my sister in some... resembled my sister in some ways. And he was my first patient.
First patient? Oh.
Yes. You see, when I first came to the Foundation, one of the initial tasks I was assigned was waking him up from a coma induced by an SCP. I find what happened to him a shame.
Now these little plans, I sure hope they'd benefit the Foundation. Things like that are rather important, wouldn't you say, Dr. Spine?
You left the people here. Of course they would be of benefit.
By a chance, would you say it's in relation to that nasty SCP that put it in a coma in the first place?
I don't quite know. To be honest, I don't quite know. I just know that he had something in mind.
Something in relation to an SCP?
Well, he worked with quite many.
Oh, you can't. He leans back. You know, he was kind of starting to loom a little bit, and he stands up again.
Her expression is kind of like, I wish I could know more, but he's dead.
Yeah, and once he sees that, he kind of straightens up. I just can't have my curiosity, you know, things like SCPs.
Yes, but I doubt that it would harm anyone. I believe that he cared quite a bit about people here. So, and he doesn't seem that, he did not seem like the sort that would try to injure people deliberately.
Forgive me. Not the sort. You heard what he did his last days, didn't you?
Yes, he had an understandable reaction to being confronted with a trauma.
He put his hands around our only therapist's throat.
She pauses, and she says, I'm not surprised. He was confronted. Well, he was put through an experience which rose quite a lot of trauma. Would you say that if someone put you through an experience that caused you to have a lifelong trauma, you would also not have a bad reaction?
Maybe I'd have a reaction, but I'd handle it because I have a job and I'm not about to attack my team for something that's personal to me.
She shrugs.
At that point, it's a matter of self-control, and let me give you a little bit of my hot take on this one. I don't think that doctor had any. He was a loon.
She's fine! I suppose that we'll have to agree to disagree, Agent Lockjaw.
Well, I just can't really understand this. It's just a scientist thing defending it, because...
No, instantly I spoke with him. So I seem to have formed a different... So I had formed a certain impression of him. Just as I do my best to judge my... Wait, no, blah blah. Base my judgments of others after interacting with them directly. And we had a few.
Were you here during the purge, by any chance?
One sec. Before he says that, she smiles and she says, let's not speak ill of the dead for now, shall we? What's with the black eye, really?
I told you.
I know that you said that you sparred with Agent Green, but any particular reason?
That I sparred with her?
Shrugs. That you got into such a beating.
Oh, well, she likes to go for the head. It's her specialty. But really, I heard she was the biggest dog in the kennel. Or he'd say the biggest dog in the pound, and I wanted to try my hand at it.
Oh.
Why I see this, I came out on top of that fight. If she didn't resort to guns, I would have won. But it's completely fair. He kind of leans back.
Could I queue up and join the waitlist to play?
Here you go.
keepsake music.
Yeah.
One sec. Let me just grab her. Because she's... That's an off song, sorry.
I had a feeling.
Top dog, huh? Yes.
What'd you say? I apologize.
She's a top dog. Oh. Does that mean you'll be trying your hand at fighting Evan as well?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't understand what you said.
Top dog, you say? Does that mean that you'll be trying a fight against Evan as well?
If I have time, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what I think of Agent... What's his agent name? Is there
Bulwark.
Bulwark, that's it. I'm not sure what I think of Agent Bulwark yet. He's such a small one. And I'm sure they gave him his position because he's good, but you know, when you see a little shrimp like that, you can't help but judge. I'm gonna keep an eye on him a little bit more, see what he can do, but I'm always down with a spar with pretty much anyone. Keeps me in ship shape.
That it does. I believe you're the only person I've sparred with thus far. After all, everyone else is... Well, they fight for the fight, but I've simply been training for self-defense purposes. Just in case.
Well, not just in case something happens, that's fair enough. But something like that can save your life.
Quite indeed, but I am constantly told that as a scientist I should leave things to the security.
Well, if the security's doing their job, but I think we talked about this before, the amount of containment breaches there's been here. It's not exactly like the securities. He looks at the camera. I can get mad at me later. Not exactly like security's been ship shape. Or at least they're trying their hardest, but when you've got so many breaches, there's only so much one can do before they're overwhelmed.
Let's hope that you don't end up with Agent Queen's hammer in your skull for that.
Oh, it'd be an honor, really. I'd like to see her try.
I will say the proper words at your funeral, I suppose.
Okay, something about how funny I was or how handsome I was.
It will be about how stupid you were.
Okay, that hurts.
You can tell that it's in jest.
Oh no, he's very clearly just shooting back. He's not offended.
Yeah.
What they say? Oh, there's Nigel, the fucking idiot.
The absolute bloody idiot.
Oh, he's so good at his job, he was.
So good, but also so stupid off of his job.
I've got to offset it. Make sure everyone can catch up. If I was smart, I'd know how the plat stuff works, and then where'd be your job?
So how was your recent mission, Agent Lockjaw? I believe that... Well, Agent Clematis had quite a lot to say about it, but...
Oh, right, the new agent. You talked with him already?
Yes. Well, you do know what his code name is, do you know? Wait.
Clematis?
Yeah.
That?
It's a flower.
Oh, of course you'd talk with him then.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, well, we spoke briefly. He's alright. Does his job. I don't know much about him, all I know is first impressions are a hell of a thing, and when you find a new NTF agent crashed out on the couch, well, can't blame me for finding it a little unprofessional.
No fault, no fault. Well, I believe my first impression of him was asking me whether my name was after cacti or after myself having a spine.
A little bit of both, that's fine.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, you stand up for yourself. It's a good trait.
Yeah.
Mission went well. I was able to work with my mate. That's always a good one, and he gives a thumbs up.
Your mate being...
Oh, Agent Korea.
Ah,
He smiles after he says that.
you go back? You go back?
A little bit. We've been working on the directive. For me, it's been, 5 years? He's been there double the time, but we work together every now and then. Share offices.
Ah,
I'd like to say he makes... when you're surrounded by a bunch of robots, it's great to have someone to talk to, even if he's just as much of a stick up the ass as the rest of them. It's a reaction, and he's great
Perhaps
at his job.
perhaps he's also secretly a robot.
Oh, he wishes he was, I swear. He acts just like him. One word response is, okay, Nigel. Oh, that's nice, Nigel. He's good company, though. He's a real stand-up guy.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't had the opportunity to speak with him much.
He could use help with technology, though.
I believe that Agent Chromatus might have that in hand. And I believe that they'll be working together, so...
Alright, MTFs, sure enough. Oh, do I feel bad for Korea, though, having to play babysitter for the tyrant?
Babysitter for the tyrant?
Yeah, it's his job to keep her safe. It's the small bean. I wouldn't want to be playing babysitter for that brat.
I wouldn't want to be playing babysitter for anybody.
But hopefully, your flower friend Gonatis will have better time than her previous teammates. What was it, 2 team wipes? Maybe 1?
Yeah.
Her track record is messy, let me tell ya.
Yes, my sister was one of them. You notice she stops smiling.
He doesn't. Her sister, that was Karis, right? Agent Karis?
Yeah.
Agent Karis? Am I wrong?
Yes.
I read up on that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I read up on that one.
Oh?
How close were you two?
Very. She was my only sibling.
Was
My oldest.
real close to your heart then?
Yes.
I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Oh?
Well, being close with something like that.
I beg your pardon.
Well, Agent Karis was on SCP.
Before she was an SCP, she was my sister.
Suppose that could be how you did it then.
I still remember one day when she came home. Her eyes were burning, she said. She couldn't go to school. She had to stay home. She had the lights off. In so much pain. Mother was concerned about taking her to the doctor, but she recovered in a few days. And when we next saw her, her eyes were yellow.
Wasn't born that way then.
No,
Pity that.
she was my sister, before she was an SCP.
It's almost
I
like
see.
losing them twice. Huh?
In a way, perhaps. But, well, let the dead lie, I like to say.
Sure.
What of you? Any family?
He shakes his head. No. It's just
Congratulations, Nigel, you just made keepsake roll 3 fucking... No, 4 fucking...
I see, and I'm really. He just doesn't like SCPs. See, that was him. He
I know,
likes
I saw
keepsakes,
his
so he's
racism!
trying to.
I
I
see
saw
it.
it. I smelled it.
I see his racism, and she is doing her. She is good. She is as cool as a cucumber. She is fine.
He was phrasing it as lightly as he could, given.
Yeah, given he is somewhat fond of keepsake. What?
Yeah, he likes keepsake. He doesn't want to upset keepsake. But also,
Yeah, well, you're coming real fucking close, buddy.
he could have been a lot more mean.
Yeah. That's not speaking of the dead. She was my sister before she was in the SCP. I should beg of you to remember that. If you do bring her up around me.
I just won't bring it up then.
Much appreciated. She's smiling, but it's very clearly a warning smile. Like, you are crossing a line.
So, it's not meant personally. Ew, lost a family member, you got the right to mourn. I didn't take that one away from you. I just certainly don't envy your position.
I don't think anyone would. But what of you? Any family?
Nah, just me. Lone wolf of sort of dog. Nuts.
Well-
I don't know what people will call me.
Well, you can't have come into the world fully formed, sprung out of a wolf's abdomen.
What'd be a hell of a story though.
True.
There was we had my ma, my pa, but not around anymore. His smile thins a little bit, but it's still very much like same peppy Nigel.
Empathy.
Force reroll, I burn a willpower.
Wait.
I
Me reroll? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Okay, well, she can't read you.
Oh, I have to reroll.
Oh no, you can either make me or yourself reroll.
Yeah, I was gonna reroll. You don't gotta
Oh.
roll. I'll go off against your 4 successes.
Okay.
He's like, alarm, alert.
She sees you. She smells the weakness.
I'm not weak. I don't have feelings. Aside from happy, we're always happy, Nigel. Where the fuck? I lost.
Congratulations. Nigel has successfully pissed her off to this song.
Yes, good.
No, it's not.
It's great, it's good stuff. He deserves it. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh god, I forgot I spent so much power. Oh yeah, I guess he is probably looking. Shit, I forgot! He would have, like, wrapping all the way up his leg, too. I completely forgot about that.
Oh.
So that's probably a thing, too. Let me go ahead and reroll. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You're fine.
And when was she empathy? After he said they're not around anymore?
Yeah.
But that's just life, isn't it? It's part of growing up. Mom and Pa aren't gonna be around all the time.
No, they can't. She looks off. I lost my father young as well. I don't remember him.
That's rough.
And she returns your wish you. Well, that's how life is, isn't it?
Exactly. You just keep marching forward to your own beat, eh?
Yes, and, well, life is never fair. The world isn't fair at all. Ever. But,
That's going to have a pessimistic way to look at it, isn't it? I mean, think about it, the world is capable of a lot of beauty.
well, the world is unfair and cruel. And unkind. And fate itself doesn't always go the way that you want it. And that's the reason why I fight, I suppose. Because I am determined to wrest the future that I want from the hands of fate itself, if I must. Just because the world isn't unkind doesn't mean that I have to be. It doesn't mean I have to take that lying down.
See, the way I see it, the world isn't unkind, the world's just a rock floating in space, and it's just a couple things on it that make it bad. But otherwise, you get all kinds of people, good people, beautiful scenery, plants, you love plants, innovation.
One sec. She's gonna empathy. Oh, this is fine.
Dab sweat. So, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to.
Oh yes, there is, and it's for those that we continue fighting. Would you like to empathy her?
Sure.
Eat my entire ass.
I can't, you're married.
Well, well, what is obvious though, that she's projecting this, is this is a very deep. She has just let out something that's deeply close to her heart, deeply personal, very honest. But she nods and says, "Yes, there are things always worth fighting for. There are things that I will keep fighting for. What do you fight for?"
Well, I fought to keep the world a better place. Fought for my place here at the foundation.
Detects lie.
Go for it.
Two successes. Was that to lie or a res comp?
That was to lie.
Oh. Well, she doesn't notice then, but she still smells something afoot.
This man is way too optimistic.
No. Thing is, Nigel, she has smelled your weakness. She has smelled weakness.
I've heard like when the anger flared in his eyes.
Well, one, his attitude towards SCPs. Two, the mention of his family. Three, that was so fucking fake. That was so fake.
I mean, I work because I enjoy the work I do. Can you blame me?
Of course. After all, that's... Well, I suppose everyone has a reason to fight.
Of course. I mean, even babies, wee babs are grown into the world. Grown, what am I saying? Born into the world. With
Well,
natural survival instincts.
some children are grown into the world.
What?
She just smiles and laughs at it. A bit of a joke. I refer to all my plants as my children.
Oh, okay, I really thought you meant that for a second. I was like, what?
Well, one could say that children who are born in test labs as clones are also grown into the world.
I've heard about that, it freaks me out.
Quite.
It's so natural. Can you imagine? Mom, Dad, where did I come from? Oh, we grew you out of a piece of glass because we love you. What?
Quite stimulation, much different than, honey, you were adopted.
Oh, I think I'll take being adopted. At least that means I was born out of flesh, and my parents were like, oh god, I don't want it, move it. And then about someone else is like, oh, I kinda like this. It's like when you go to a thrift store and there's that really, really nice shirt. You know, someone else didn't like it, but then you liked it. That's a feeling of being loved. But no, small child, here's your tube. I can't even fathom. Have you seen dogs made out of test tubes? I've seen a dog that was a test tube baby, you know? And they're expensive, they're insane. But I've seen it and it was huge. It was like towering. I could probably eat someone if you wanted. It was impressive, but also I just didn't know what to make of it. It was bigger than a kid, like a. He puts his hand down to the height of a 6-year-old. Bigger than that. I'm not
Ignore that D4. Ignore that D4, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
She, her eyebrows just go higher and higher as you continue.
He's on a tirade. He's like, can you believe it? I don't even know what breed it is. I don't know dog breeds. Do I look like a guy who had a dog? You shouldn't put me in charge of another living being. Are you kidding me? Not I'd be bad at it, but I feel like I couldn't give it the love it deserves. It's like a little child. Isn't there something about and he's waving his hand now at her. Isn't there something about dogs are 4-year-old kids? Is that just preparing you for parenthood? I'm going off on a tirade. Where are you going, Nigel? Never mind. How are you doing?
Well, I suppose that you might be able to take care of something.
What? What do you mean?
Plants?
Oh. No, I think I'm a lot better with taking care of things once there's no memory of it involved. There's the daily, you gotta water the plants daily, and what if I forget?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what kinds are there that God, I mean, I'm always willing to spruce up the place.
Well, I suppose I'll give you a little, if you give me your room number, I can, if you tell me what your office is, I can send you a little something.
Oh, sprucing up the office. I gotta do that. I just gotta cover it in flowers and record Corey's reaction and do priceless.
Well, there are succulents, see? They are flowers, not flowers, duh. They're plants that sustain well in dry environments without water for periods of time. You would only have to water it, say, once every other week, so...
Oh, that's pretty manageable.
Make sure that the air conditioning isn't set too dry, or too wet.
You can do that. Wait, you can set air conditioning to dry up the wet. Oh, that's
Sorry.
Damning.
One sec. That was that. If you have air conditioning or humidifier in your office, make sure that it's not too cold or wet or hot. They're very manageable. They don't demand much. Unlike some other plants like tomatoes. Her gaze gets noticeably colder.
Don't like tomatoes, do you?
No, they're quite. No. It's simply that they're among one of the more picky plants to grow. And I've heard quite a lot about from other gardeners about proper care and about proper care of tomatoes, and I'm quite done with it.
I think of all the plants, I think like of the baited growing is the root ones, carrots and onions. I think onions are like the beets, things like that. Our family, we live in a tiny town, so like we had our own garden, so I at least have some experience in that.
Well, succulent should be a walk in the park then. Do you have any color that you like?
I do really love pink. Purples too, they're really pretty colors. You like them in that color?
Wonderful. She something occurs to her and she quickly takes a glance at a time somewhere. She says, "Oh dear, I've gone over my time."
Oh, you have someone to be?
I try to get an early. I try to. Blah. Well, I try to limit myself to only an hour or two in the training room. I do have things to take care of after all. And I've just passed, and we've been talking for quite a bit. I'm over 2 hours.
I got carried away. I didn't mean to hold you up.
Oh no, no worries. No worries. No worries. No worries. I don't mind the conversation. But I do terribly apologize for having to cut this conversation short.
Oh, it's not worrying at all.
I am in here quite often though, so if you would like to continue this conversation another time.
Usually around this time then?
Yes. I spend an hour or two after dinner. So, basically from 8 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
At latest 10. But usually from 8 to 9 she's there.
Oh, there is no bad more at this hour. I mean, I'm a little limited right now because he kind of holds out his leg a little bit. He's healing, but...
Yes, as I feel. So, pardon me, sis. Have a good night.
Sweet dreams, whenever that happens.
She quickly packs up and waves and says, "Same stuff."
Same stuff. Smiles genuinely.
And she hurries off. And the next, in 2 or 3 days, Nigel, you get. One sec. I'm gonna pull up an image. You said pink?
Mm-hmm.
You get. One sec. You get one of. I'll stick it in OOC.
Okay.
In a modest pot.
Aww.
And it has instructions on how to care for it.
He will put it in his office and pin the instructions up next to it. So that he has it and doesn't forget about it.
She also says that if he would like to annoy Agent Courier with plants all over the office, succulents are very easy to propagate. And if you would like, she has more pots.
He zooms in. at some point when Keepsake is walking through the halls, and after she does gives him it, uh, Nigel will see her and be like, oh, Dr. Schwein!
Yeah? Oh, Agent Lockjaw.
Oh. And then he'll look at her and be like, you alright with hugs, yeah?
Pardon?
Are you alright with... He makes a hugging gesture. Hugs. I know some people here don't like touching.
I suppose I'm not?
You say not?
Not. Like, not against.
No. And he's like, alright, fantastic! And he goes over and he gives her, just picks her up off the ground. Thank you, I love it.
Oh my goodness! Squawks!
He laughs, twirls her around, puts her down.
She like staggers from up, grabs her stuff with her staff. Well, that's for something.
Just being affectionate, he's all thank you for the flower. It looks quite nice in the office.
Oh, no problem. It is a plant, not a flower.
Like that.
Well, they don't. Well, succulents are a breed that don't produce flowers, which is why I have them everywhere on my lab desk. And she'll like, if you're near the lab, she'll like gesture you to come with her, and she'll point at her desk, which is full of succulents. So they're quite sanitary to have around office spaces, actually.
Good to know. I got to keep going, just wanted to stop by and say thank you.
No problem.
His staff isn't like extended, so it's still the small one, but he still waves it, same stuff.
That's okay. And later, she'll leave. Like a couple days later, she will leave. One sec. Gets another picture. One of those. Also in a modest pot. Clearly room for it to grow.
He puts up shelves so that he can put more flowers in his office.
And she also, if you would like, she also gives him instructions on how to plant them himself. Like, because they're so fucking easy, you can literally just break off a leaf.
What is the gardening roll? What's gardening roll? Is that crafts?
Yes.
It's got some crafts.
You can do either a crafts or a science.
It's crafts. Nigel looks at science and is like, haha, what? It's a foreign language to him. He is not a smart man. He just likes the pretty colors of the plants. So.
I mean, that's fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah,
I just imagine that when Charlie enters his office next time, there's just gonna be BAM!
I don't know how many Nigel would put up because he'd actually have the worry of what if I forget about them, what if I forget to water one.
Well, there's the instructions easy to print out. And there's also a if you ever have if you have any questions about caring for your new children, feel free to ask me. Signed by Keepsake. Well, signed Dr. Spine.
I just imagine sometimes those days where Nigel wakes up and it's like his off day, he's like, oh shit! And then like runs to the office to water them.
Well,
like a day over.
Doesn't have to water every day, so.
Oh, I know, but even like it's like a day past the watering period, like he forgot.
He's like, oh no.
He's just like laying in bed, oh, good morning. Ah, fuck!
She also has like each pot, they have little tags with the which variety of succulent it is, and a little fun fact about them. So it's interesting for him.
He's gotta collect them all. He has a new hobby.
I guess. But yeah, that's how it goes.
It works well with his other hobby because He hasn't mentioned it, but he actually does. You know the bug pinning?
Huh. That's not serial killer-like at all.
No,
No.
no. He just pins butterflies. Like after, obviously they're dead already.
Yeah.
And so he just has like, if you went into his, not his office, well there might be like one in his office, but like in his house they have the frames and then there's the butterflies exhibit there. With like the different butterflies and the names under it.
Someday she drops by his office and she sees all of them. She just squints.
Well,
Would you like to?
Oh, go ahead.
Would you like to set it up so that they're more in a proper row? I could give you a window pot.
Oh, how his plants are set up haphazardly?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a window.
Yeah. You could line them all up on a shelf.
Oh, well, he points to the shelf he put up. Well, I'm starved then.
She arrives a day later with one of those long pots, rectangular pots, lots of soil. Looks at him, rolls up her sleeves, already has her gardening gloves on, hands him a pair of gloves.
They just get working.
Yeah. She takes plants very seriously, and she'll give him some advice on. Oh, I do believe that you've been watering this one a bit too much.
Oh, did I? I thought I was underwatering it.
Oh no, oh no. You see these plants. If they look dry, they are probably not dry.
It probably says, it was just like, oh, I just, poor little fella looked thirsty.
They're quite easy to drown.
His like eyebrows go, or his like his eyes wide. He's like, oh no. He doesn't say it. It's just a face of, oh no, I'm drowning my plant.
You have plant children now, Nigel.
Yeah, I have plant children.
You have plant children, Nigel. You have a responsibility to be a good father to them.
He's gonna try.
Oh.
This is the reason he'd never get a dog, is because he'd just dote over it like crazy.
Oh my god, is he just... Okay, now the serious question is he gonna name every one of them?
He might.
Oh my god, fucking what?
It probably starts as a joke with Keepsake, where she's like, if she's like, hey, you should name him, you'd be like, alright, sure, that one's Patricia. And then she keeps referring to them as Patricia, so he's like, well, I guess I gotta name the others now.
Yeah, I mean, she would be like, do you have any favorites?
He'd point to the original pink one.
What a pretty one. Do you have... You wouldn't happen to have given a name?
A name? I don't know, maybe something like Patricia or something.
Well, if you care about things, I find no harm in giving them a name.
Oh wait, you're serious?
And she just raises an eyebrow and says, I'm quite serious when I call plants my children. I give them my name. I give them a name.
Oh, well, I guess it is Patricia then. Just looking at it.
She takes out a pen, writes Patricia on its tag.
Just quietly whispers, hi Patricia.
Oh my god, that is so pure. That's so wholesome. What the fuck? That's so wholesome. Oh my god. Bree, slam hand down. Please draw these two potting plants together.
Yes, I will.
You just have the duality of them beating the shit out of things in the training room, and then smash cut potting plants.
Yes, good.
Oh my god. Later, she'll ask if he named the others.
He will probably have actually be like, well, I've got a couple. I don't know what to go with. Like, what if they don't like them?
Oh my god. Well, if they don't like them, you can always give them a better one.
Oh, like, that just feels like cheating, doesn't it? Changing the name. I mean, if you had a gerbil or something, you don't call him Steve and then think, oh, you don't really look like a Steve, I'm gonna call you Anthony. It just, you can't just change his name like that.
No, it simply means that the amount of love that you have for them has changed, so you wish to call them something better.
What if I named one of them Rodney? Is Rodney a good name?
Why not? Though I suppose a Rodney would suit a rhododendron more.
Would it?
Well, one sec.
He's genuinely confused. He's like, oh gosh, this is works. I didn't expect to have to name these kids. But like,
Rhododendron. These are rhododendrons. Rodney, rhododendron.
oh, so pretty.
Yes, they are. Unfortunately, I don't have any on hand.
It's alright. Okay. You're quickly becoming my flower dealer.
Oh my!
I think I need to stop a little bit. I need to slow down.
It's okay. Well, that's fine. You have succulent. Well, that's fine. Succulents, you see, are quite good at multiplying them, even when they're by themselves.
I think I was
I
gonna
don't
call
believe
them.
that. Huh?
He's just like, while she's talking in the middle of it, he just says kind of thoughtfully, I think I was going to call the blue one Beth.
Beth, that's wonderful.
It's not a bad name. Oh my god, named anything.
Keepsake internally. All according to Keikaku. Keepsake internally. I have converted another one to the cult.
Yeah, he looks like Jenny. He's like, oh, I think I'm mother named a couple animals in my childhood, but like, I don't remember the names.
Well, that's what the tags are there for.
Like, I think I named him, like, I think I had a hamster when I was little and I named him Orange.
That's fine.
It's a terrible name.
No name is a terrible name. She reaches up and puts hand on his shoulder, because names are an expression of love.
Oh, that's wholesome.
They're an expression of love, and I'm sure that no matter the name, as long as it's a name that you've given with love, it will appreciate it.
Well, then I'll go ahead and pencil in Beth on the tag.
Use pen. Better.
Oh, I actually have pens in my office. I could just use that. I don't want to steal your pen. You're doing sciencey shit.
There's a thumbs up. Later, shows up to your office. She brought like a little label printer, and gives it to you to use. You can type it and print a label for each pot.
It is done. You actually notice in his office a lot of things have labels anyway, so this works fine. And she'll
What's with all the labels?
oh, you see, I'll share this office with Korea. It's technically actually my office, but I don't mind them using it. And so we started as a joke to stake my claim. It's just, you know, he's got his nameplate out. I don't know if you saw, he's got a nameplate out in front of the office, and so I was like, oh no, mate, it's mine. So I just labeled everything.
She like leans back and looks. Yes, I did double take for a moment when I saw that.
He's in it quite a bit, but he pats the couch he's laying on. This is mine. and that's mine, and that's mine. He starts pointing at the labeled things.
And and every single child in here is yours.
Exactly. He's gotta know his place.
She is just internally, all according to Keikaku, another person has been converted to the plant cult. If she catches him calling them his children, she will just smile inside.
That has not happened yet. He's gonna be like, oh, a couple. He keeps calling them flowers.
No. The fact that he's calling them by names is already a good thing.
One thing Keepsake will always know is like, even when he's talking to someone else about it, is like he keeps calling them flowers. He will never stop calling them flowers.
That's fine. And she will always patiently say they're plants.
Flowers are plants. Oh wait, they're not.
God, that he almost pissed her off, but she so as revenge, she converted him to the cult of plants.
The duality of man.
Well, I think we can end the RP there.
That's a good ending.
God.